Welcome to episode 6 of the Unfake It Till You Make It podcast. I'm your host, Tony Suriano, and today we talk alligators, creativity, and how to remain a child.
This podcast will talk you through the ups and downs in the entertainment industry.
Each and every one of you has a talent, but it's a tough business. People gonna tell you did a real job.
By introducing you to sustainable, moldable methods in a crazy, cutthroat world.
Let us harness our willpower and take real action.
Don't let it get you down.
Join me, brothers and sisters, on a journey through trials and tribulations.
Unfake it till you make it.
My guest today is a young woman who wears many hats. Some include her as an author of 3 beautiful children's books, and she reads them to kids across the nation. A teacher for over 16 years, a spiritual psychologist, a working actress, and probably the most difficult job of all, a mom. We had a lot of fun and got into how to get out of depression within creativity as well as how to get vulnerable. I am proud to have her on, and now, please enjoy my interview with Miss Gina Ann. You're into a lot of different things, and we were talking about that just moments ago. So what are you currently working on or recently completed?
I just completed Wrinkle in Time and was featured in the special edition People magazine. So that was a real honor. I was actually directed by Ava DuVernay, which was amazing. What I'm working on now is...
Wait, how were you involved in The Wrinkle of Time? What were you doing?
A casting director called me and asked if I'd be interested in playing the mom.
Ooh.
One of the moms on there, and I said absolutely. So she had known my background and known that I have published 3 children's books. And she knew I was a mom as well.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Was that a surprise of the call?
Oh, when I got the call, I was like, Jazz. I went down to Disney Studios, and they took me right in, and I got fitted and went from there.
Amazing. Before we go further, I have a little question. Can you talk about Charlie?
Charlie? Alligator Charlie?
Yes.
I actually grew up in Texas, and we had an alligator in one of our tanks. His name was Charlie. So we lived on 60 acres, and so I would go down there, and I would write poetry, and I would talk to Charlie. And what Charlie liked the most was when I'd bring bread crust. You know, then my mom wouldn't notice that I took the bread that we were supposed to eat, so I'd take the crust, and I would ball it up, and I would say, Charlie, and he would come to the surface of the water, and I would throw it in, and then we would chat, and that's where my imagination, first bloomed, because we had snakes and alligators, but Charlie was my friend.
Damn, your friend in the swamp. But wait,
Exactly.
it was a tank?
A tank, or another word, a pond.
Oh, okay.
We call them tanks in Texas.
Oh, okay.
What I didn't know is we had 2 tanks, and we'd go swimming in the other one until we saw Charlie.
Wow. Okay, did you have any close calls that he tried to nip at you? Or?
No, he was just in the water watching us. But we didn't take the risk again of jumping in.
Okay. That's incredible. Yeah, alligators I love, but I have a fear. Remember the scene in Ace Ventura when Jim Carrey wrestles?
Exactly.
The alligator? Oh my gosh. That's
I think
one of
as
my
a
favorite
child,
scenes.
you're not tarnished by the harshness of life, and you look at it through the eyes of innocence, regardless of what's happening in your life, and you look at nature, and you have a deeper appreciation and a relatability to them. That's how it was for me, and it really just stirred a lot of creative juices in me, writing poetry and appreciating what was around me, which was basically nothing but nature, because I lived in a rural area.
That's so nice. Yeah, I would love to have a place one day in the out of everything.
Right. No, I loved growing up there, but then as soon as I turned 18, I came to Los Angeles because I needed more stimulation.
Okay. Yeah. You got to find a bit of both.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of children and how you're involved in the community, before we go into any other entertainment classics, like everyone thinks, entertainment industry, music and film or something, but I think definitely as an author, you're an entertainer, and you also read your books that you've written to people, and that's another form of entertainment. So I wanted to just jump right in and ask you how you came to write 3 beautiful children's books and got a publisher, and how that happened, how's it going, and before you go into that, maybe before we talk about the success, talk about like some of the failures that led up to that and how it started.
Well, I don't think of them as failures. I think that every no leads to a yes eventually, and you're just closer to that yes. I was receiving a master's in spiritual psychology, University of Santa Monica, and I chose my second year project to write a book. I've been a storyteller my entire life. I was a paraeducator and a physical education teacher for over 16 years. And so it just came to me, and it's about a fairy angel, JoJo, and she's in the series. And I was having a hard time finding an illustrator. And so I was calling college students, and I was getting so frustrated, and it was due. You know, I had to turn this in. This was my second year project. This was a major portion of my grade. And so I called up Hay House, which resonates with me, and I was getting a master's in spiritual psychology. So I said, where can I find an illustrator? And so they said, can you send us the manuscript? And they published it. And so they asked me to do a series. And from there, I've been to Warner Brothers and Nickelodeon because I see her as a cartoon. And I have been to St. Jude in Tennessee. I was flown there and read to the children at St. Jude and the orphanage in Corazon de Vida in Tijuana.
Wow.
And Children's Hospital. And JoJo is also, and the books are a modality for schools as a role model for kindness. So I do bring up touchy subjects like bullying and feeling unworthy, and we reframe those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I didn't know that that was interesting. It's a school project that turned into so much more. Mm-hmm. I like that you did your own diligence just to figure out to find an illustrator of some sort. You weren't really thinking, I'm going to call 50 publishers. You just were like, for publishing, you just called a publisher to just ask them about their resources, right? I mean,
right. You have to be proactive in anything
cool.
you do. I don't believe anything will come knocking at your door unless you open the door. And so you have to be, whatever your dreams are, or your success, or your life, you have to be proactive in it. Your health.
Yes.
All of it. Mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually.
Sorry, I flipped open your book.
Okay.
And I saw Charlie.
That's Charlie.
He's so cute.
Yeah.
Oh my God. He's in, little JoJo is on top of, or it looks like he's almost on top of Charlie. And then there's like a cool, crazy frog.
Right.
This is a cool book. I definitely,
you.
I would love to give,
right.
and I will give one of these to my little cousin, Ariana.
Well, thank you. You know, like I said, each book has a story, and it's about empowering children to believe in themselves, because I feel our children are our future.
Yeah, they definitely are.
Yeah.
Can't argue that.
No, I mean, they are our future, and as you see the world turning as it is, they are becoming and having more of a voice, which is beautiful. I do now, one of the newest things I've been doing is, because I'm licensed and certified, I work with domestic violence, abused men, women, and children, and PTSD veterans, women, men, and children. And I use my books as a modality, even if you're 5 or 50.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can always get something from looking into the childlike thoughts. They're so uninhibited and just they're right. More straightforward than you'd think.
Well, they're more honest.
Mm-hmm.
They will tell you, and I mean, for me, they are the real heroes of the world and the growing heroes of the world. So we have to start with children.
Definitely. So you said you've been a teacher for over 16 years. And correct me if I'm wrong. So for a lot of your life, you were living a little more of like a straightforward, you played it safe for quite a while. And then you went vulnerable, and you went with endeavors like writing books, becoming an actress and entrepreneur. Like, I mean, from what I remember, it seems like that all happened. Like, once you took off, you just took off. I mean, what was it that...
Well, as a mother, I created adventures for my children. So I would wake them up at like 1 a.m, break in on the golf course and eat ice cream.
Wow.
So we would take adventures, and then I became a Girl Scout leader so they can, I wanted to empower them, and I brought them to Skid Row, but then also took a field trip around the South Bay so they can learn their environment and introduce them to my favorite. I'm going to go back to Skid Row. When the children went there, and they were about 13, one of them said, "This isn't Palos Verdes anymore." And it was a real awakening in humanity. And that's what I'm trying to teach, so they can get in touch with their own humanity. If you can't serve others and help others, it's hard to reach within yourself. And it starts with yourself, and loving yourself, and believing in yourself. And sometimes children don't have the tools, so if we can teach them. I mean, I had my own stories too. And yes, as far as the vulnerability, I really became vulnerable, and I decided I'm going to be an actress. And I heard all sorts of comments. You're too old.
This
You're a
and that.
mother. Why can't you just be simple? And then when I was writing a book, no one's going to buy it.
Yeah.
I
What are you
heard
doing?
everything, and I just had to. It hurt, and I had to go through the hurt and the pain, and turn it into something. Like I said, all of our stories are the same. It just looks different. It's what you make of the stories, and I look at them as lessons. How painful, how joyful, how fearful. And if you can turn that and help others is what I feel my mission is in life.
Beautiful. So, have you figured out or looked at your secret to getting into that position? You know, is there something that clicked one day that you're like, why can't I just try to become something I'm interested in, or do something like writing a book, do something like this or that?
Is when in all honesty, it's when I was giving up hope on life. My father had passed away. There was a lot of painful and traumatic things that happened. And I just took a breath and I said, I need to change. And I'm still learning. I feel like until you take that last breath, you continue to learn and grow. Once you say, oh, I've got it, you don't have it at all.
Yeah, I agree.
It's like the more I learn, the less I know. So until I take that last breath, I'm going to keep going. And I always tell everybody, reach for the stars. Oh, I can't do it. Well, that you have to stop.
I'm a big
if you want.
believer in affirmation.
Never give up. It's I am, I can, I will.
Yeah, so many people. I feel like everyone's creative inside since they're born, but then it becomes stifled. And so many people, they just, whatever, they get a job, they have kids, and they forget how to play like a child.
Exactly.
How can you tell people, what are some good tips, like how to come back to your childhood and play?
And that's what it is. I know inner child has been overused. There are a lot of words that are overused now. But what resonates is reaching down and remembering those times when you were a child or a teenager and you lost track of time. Time is an illusion.
I love that.
Correct? So you go back to that time where, whatever that time may be, and you recapture it and recapture the feeling of how you felt. I mean, why not go out and swing? Why not go out and climb on the roof and look at the sunset? Why? What is stopping you? Yes, you have bills. Yes, you have debt. Yes, you have this. But you have this moment. And I feel in order to really play, one of my favorite books is Called Play by Stuart Brown. It's amazing. And it works in every field of your life. Because if you don't go out and play is different for everybody, then you just are going through the motions and not living the quality life. So I encourage everyone to go to that one place where you running through the sprinklers, whatever, laughing with your friends, whatever that may be, whatever it looks like to you, blowing out birthday candles. I don't know. It's different for everybody. And if you can capture that feeling and go back to that, it's all about going back to that youth, wherever your youth was.
Yeah, I agree. So much to think about when it comes to taking yourself out of your day-to-day and getting into that position.
Yeah, and going outside. And when I worked with the children at the schools, I always took them outside. And I taught from preschool to high school, and every one of the students I would take outside, I would tell them to take their shoes off, put their feet in the grass, and I said, what is the grass saying to you? And it told so much. Sometimes we'd run on the grass. Some were not able to run on the grass. And the responses were golden. And those were fodder for my books. They were fodder for the articles I write for Huffington Post, for the school, for stories in general, for journaling. And they inspired me.
Yeah.
I learned from them, as I'm learning from you right now.
As I am from you right now. That's what I love. It's definitely feeding into just our personal relationships when you either tap into your child mode, not the angry, ridiculous one, but like, you know, the fun
But
one.
embrace that one too.
Oh yeah,
and
true.
honor that.
And just be aware that you're in your baby mode. You know, you got to get out though if it's a baby mode, but if it's childhood mode of losing track of time, that's just perfect.
Well, that's it. If you don't want to stay in it, have your moment. And I know we want, as a society, quick relief. So a lot of people self-medicate, whatever that may be, food, sex, drugs. That's okay if that's how you want your journey to life to be. There's no judgment as long as you don't hurt anybody else.
Exactly.
That's my whole thing. Do what you have to do. Just don't hurt anybody else in the process.
Very true. I love that. That's something that really resonates with me.
Good.
And I try to, whatever I do, I really think about that. Like I'm pretty uninhibited. I mean, you know me well enough, and you too. We're just like, oh, if we feel like laying down in the middle of the street for some weird reason, we're gonna lay down.
Yeah.
It's not now. I'm not gonna do that in the middle of traffic, so it could cause an accident. You know.
Right. That's what I mean. You're not gonna hurt someone else.
Yeah.
But if you feel like doing it, do it. And some of the responses from the grass, there was a young boy who had cerebral palsy. And he said, oh, the grass is dancing. Well, that says so much, correct? Now, of course, I got, oh, there's poop in the grass. Well, yeah, that was a 5-year-old.
But you can learn from that. Like,
exactly.
Sometimes there's going to be
how do you
poop
interpret it
in the grass?
Do you want to step on it, walk around it, or go through it?
Yeah.
So, I mean, like I said, I learn from everyone I touch and who touches me. And sometimes our paths cross. And it's been joyful and it's been excruciatingly painful to go through. But I tried to take all those moments and learn from it and grow from it and do better.
Okay, so people that have trouble getting into that kid mode and losing track of time, you have any small tips that they could tackle that you know how sometimes you just need, like, you do need baby steps. Some people can do the leap, but...
Right. Well, I think it's different for everyone. In one of my books, the first one, Oh No Jojo, she rips her wing. Well, what I call, she meets 3 critters along the way, a bee, a spider, and a snake. And then she's able to fly at the end. Well, is it because, she has this magical stone around her neck? Is it those critters, which I call the generosity of spirit? Or is it that she believed in herself? It could be all of them. It could be a good luck charm. It could be someone that comes in your path and motivates you, inspires you. It could be you reach within yourself and say, enough. I want to have fun. I want to enjoy this moment. I actually want to breathe and enjoy the breath. I want to feel it, taste it, hear it, smell it, embody it.
Yeah, ask yourself what you're really looking for that resonates in your heart. And then just maybe a small step could be just being aware that's really what you want. And not even if you don't take action now, but if you're aware of it, perhaps tomorrow or 1 month, you will meet someone or you'll see a funny rock that looks like a little face, and you're going to pick it up and you're going to actually put it in your pocket. That rock, for some reason, will be the next, like, your new photography session or maybe your next character in a book.
That's exactly it. I see shells all the time. I live by the beach. I'm very fortunate, and blessed, and worked very, very hard to get to the place I am, and I'm not done. And I think that's what keeps me going, is I'm not done. I have many things to do, regardless of age, sex, religion, politics. All that is exterior.
Blonde hair.
Exactly. You're exactly right.
I love it.
Am I true blonde, though?
I don't think so. Are you?
I am.
Okay, you are.
I am.
You are. I was just trying to be nice. No.
I'm Italian, but I'm a blonde Italian.
Oh, man.
No, I like I said, it's different for everybody, and I think, helping one another as well, but you've got to help yourself first. And doing projects and getting the word out, what you're doing is so important. And I want to thank you, and I'm so grateful and honored that you asked me to be on this podcast, because what you're doing is sending these energy out, and whoever receives it, and it's all positive, and it's coming from such a great intention. And I don't even remember how long I've known you, because it doesn't matter.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you being here, and it's really fun so far. I have so many questions that I've written down here, and the next one is a little deeper with what we went into, like when shit really hits the fan. Like, do you have a specific process that you now can look back and be like, oh, I've realized, like, the next time the shit hits the fan, it's a little easier because that I learned a process. So is there a step-by-step little thing you could share?
Absolutely, because I have more tools now to better deal with the shit hits the fan. And in the end, cream rises to the top and shit will always sink to the bottom. Always. Always. So when you're going through this shit, for me, personally, I get quiet. And what that means is I have a board of directors in my head. And I get quiet, wherever that may be, and I think, and I get logical. Because when you get into the emotional state, physiologically, your brain shuts down. Logic shuts down when you're emotional. And then I figure out how bad is this situation? You know, whatever the situation is, how bad is this? It's just a moment. How do I get through it? Well, I feel the pain. I don't shove it aside. I used to shove it aside. Well, what happens is it all comes up. And it comes up in different forms. And
that's when shit spews.
That spews, exactly.
You don't want to spew shit because it gets on you and everyone else.
Everyone else. And, and when I was in those moments, I met people in that same field.
That like shit.
That like shit. Exactly. And give shit. Exactly. Give shit, talk shit, all of that. So when I started learning the tools, I'm like, no, this is not what I want in my life anymore. And is this so bad? Maybe this is a good thing. And then I started embracing and meeting like-minded. And I always feel whoever's supposed to be in my life will be in my life. That goes with family, friends, people in the grocery store. I have met people just randomly once, and it's like souls touching. And I may never see that person again, but it was so profound. Profound.
Yeah. I love that. It took me a lot of years to be aware and open enough to actually have a soul touch. And
right.
I love how you put that.
Exactly.
Because I used to close myself off for so many years, and I'm not talking like 3 or 4, like probably
Protection.
12 years of just, like I would not want to, I felt like, no one wants to have anything to do with me.
Right.
And then I felt like, maybe they're this and that, and just, it's all made up shit in our brains.
That's what it is.
And when I opened up, though, like when I really allowed myself, I asked myself, what do I want? What am I really going for? I've written it down, and it changes and transforms.
Another modality. Writing it down. That's
Yeah.
beautiful. I write everything down. And I'm very empathic. So when you're talking, I feel a tightness in my throat because I feel like you, and I could be wrong, and I do know you, but I don't know the inners of you. I know the good parts of you. I feel like right now, so you hear my voice, like you had a problem speaking your voice, your true voice. But you're getting past that, and so I have to protect myself because this is what I do with children. I can pick up empathically what's happening within their body and where it's affecting them, their stomach, which is your power source. I don't know if you know about chakras.
A little bit.
Yeah, and so I'm very into that and tapping into those and healing those and assisting you to get in touch with those parts of your body. It's like if your knee hurts or your heart hurts or we're all connected with the chakras. Or if that's a little bit woo-woo for you, it's just knowing where your hurts are because there's always a root. Somebody insults you, there's a root of why that hurts. And until you heal that hurt, you're going to keep getting hurt by the same thing. So I think to be well-rounded and embracing, I was raised Catholic. But I've been to Buddhism, Taoism, I'm Jewish. I've been to every church because I feel like we're all embracing the same thing. It's just your language. Universe, God, spirit, atheist. It's okay. No judgment.
I love it. Yeah. I agree. Can we go into, let's see.
This is your show, Tony. You can go anywhere you want.
Great. Let's talk about clowns and...
No, I don't like clowns.
Really?
I don't like clowns.
Okay, you know what's funny? Obviously,
I'm scared of
everyone
clowns.
has the... I mean, not everyone, but it's very known. Oh, the clowns are scary. But they are,
They are.
It's so weird. They're the happiest things. They're supposed to... It's because it's almost... I think it's because they're wearing this facade that they are this happy being, but they're just this human behind it that has all these crazy emotions that you don't even talk
chills.
to.
Yes.
You don't talk to that human. You just talk to the clown.
Exactly.
And you think about, what does the clown do after he gets in his car or he walks home to his place? He has all this makeup on the nose. What does he do then?
He takes it off.
Yeah, and then you see.
Ooh, yeah, I'm chilled.
No, wait. Quick clown story, but not really. I lived in an attic for 10 years. Okay, and it was great till I hit like puberty, and then it started to like I couldn't stand up all the way. But anyway, I loved the attic, and I created a lot of songs and a lot of listenings and learnings in there. But I had this little clown thing that went over the doorknob into one of the other attics. There was like 2 attics, my regular one and then one next to it that got smaller. It was like literally like Alice in Wonderland. Okay. And then the third little attic area where it was you can't really hang out, that got even smaller. But so one of the doors leading to the second room had
such a great visual.
yeah, right. And one of the doors had this clown on the doorknob. Ooh. And I don't know, I kept it up all the time, but I always got a little freaked out by it. I don't know why I kept it up, but finally, I brought it to this space that you're in here now, this office, my atelier, and I brought it here. And one day I picked it up, and I'm like, why the hell do I still have this? 1, 2, it still is a little weird. And so then what I did, now I'm tangenting, but I took a picture of it, and then I put it to my Evernote file called memorabilia, and then I threw it away. Oh, and it wasn't something I can give away, so I just threw it away.
Now you know what you did? You had a fear. The fear came from somewhere. You embraced the fear. You questioned the fear. And then you let it go.
Yeah, and it took quite some time, I think.
We had, in my house, we had a picture of a clown, and I felt it was following me everywhere. And that's why I'm like, why is he following me everywhere? So I had a fear. But the same thing, we threw it away, and my brothers and I, we thrashed it. We thrashed it one day. We took it to the woods and we thrashed it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and we felt good. We're like, but let it go. We're not afraid of. And now we can go to circuses and see clowns. Yeah. It's like ventriloquists.
Have you seen Magic?
The
movie Magic?
Oh, yeah.
Anthony Hopkins.
Yes.
If you have not seen the movie Magic,
amazing.
Watch it.
Amazing.
I'll put it in the show notes.
Yes.
If I can get that link, maybe Amazon. I love that movie.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorite actors.
Oh, he's amazing. I almost had a chance to be with him, but I didn't get the part. Yeah. One of the most, I guess, epic, and it's not just celebrities, everywhere we touch, but growing up, my dad liked Clint Eastwood. And when I was on set with him, it brought back all those childhood memories of my dad, like saying, Clint Eastwood, I'm watching all the movies. And so here I was, literally 1 foot away and having a conversation with him. The steely blue eyes, and he's aged, but he's still amazingly powerful. So the set was 200 people. He didn't make one sound. When he said cut, he did the hand movement. The movement where you go cut. I know we're not on TV, so I'm doing the movement. Plus I'm Italian, and my hands are always going. And then when he wanted to roll it, he just did his finger. Silence. The amount of respect that he commanded organically. Not out of fear.
Yeah.
Was
with time he's developed so much.
I was mesmerized. Wow. But if you read his story starting out, I was just reading a story about oh my gosh, Sylvester Stallone and Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Big fan of those both.
Oh, me too. I grew up Rocky. I had his poster on my wall. The song is still, and I had his poster. I like him. I thought he was
he's
gorgeous, but the Italian stallion. But look at his story.
Oh,
look how he sold his dog.
I love that story.
Oh my gosh, that's what it's about. We all have that story. We all came from something. We all.
But he bought his dog back for $15,000 or something after he sold the movie.
He did,
just
Rocky,
so you don't put him down.
But you know what? Okay, what?
Like he sold his dog to be a star.
Tony, what you have, what I have, what Sylvester Stallone has is we didn't give up. He didn't give up. He didn't sacrifice what was true to him because they wanted his movie, but they wanted someone else to play it. Like when my books, I would not sacrifice the integrity. I don't care how much a big corporation wanted, and they did, wanted to buy the story. I said
so
no.
They can change it. They can do their things.
I wanted to stay true to who she is because that came to me authentically and soulfully. And through those books, were a lot of healing from myself. Yeah. And every child that holds my book, I feel like they are hugging me back. And I'm hugging them.
Jumping back for a second, what was the Clint Eastwood movie?
Oh, Jersey Boys.
Really?
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's so funny. Me and, of course, I would have loved to work on that somehow. I wasn't in the circuit at that time, really. Probably under a rock somewhere. My friend Jay Delaval, he was on the show also. And we were all like trying to figure out how is there some connection into this, especially Jay Dilla, because he is a Jersey boy. He's from Jersey. That's so cool that, hey, I know someone that was working on it.
Yeah,
It's
no.
very cool.
I mean, and I've only been acting really for 6 years. And I just jumped in and I said, I'm going to go for it. And I'm going to have, this is where the playful Gina came in, sitting next to Charlie saying, I'm just going to do it and I'm going to have fun with it. Every audition, I'm going to go have fun. Where can I go in, play dress up, be someone else that is playing for me? And I'm grateful for every audition, how small, how middle, how large. I'm so grateful. Yes, those moments where I'm in People magazine, that's like, it's a reward. Like, wow, I did. If I can do it, anybody can do it. I was just a mom and a teacher who had stories. And I'm not done. And I'm going to keep going. And whatever comes, but I'm going to work at it too. I work at it every day. I work on myself physically, mentally, emotionally. I work for my craft, whether it's writing. I write every day. I journal every day. I'm writing notes. I always have paper and pen where I go so I can write whatever comes to me.
That's one of the best things I've seen in everyone that like I look up to. They write down something. I mean, we can of course use our phones, but the pen to paper solidifies it even more.
Oh, I have to touch it.
I like to do both.
Yeah, I'm the pencil. Actually, I love the pencil. I like touching the tree. I like being that close to nature. I'm not really will hop on my computer. I write it.
Yeah,
I write everything and journaling, whatever. Even if you journal and you burn it and you have a ritual, I do that all the time.
Can we tangent? You do that? So my
absolutely.
Mom, and I tell you this quick story, and then tell me what you do if it's similar. But my mom used to tell me when I was younger, she'd be like, if you have bad feelings about someone or something's bothing you, write it down and then take it outside and burn it.
Burn it.
And I
don't cause a fire.
But. I know I haven't done that for a while, but I mean in my adulthood I have. But I remember as a child I was so mad at something, and I just remembered when my mom said, wrote it down, burned it. It felt so good.
I taught my children that's and going out and running. I run.
Oh man.
I exercise. Great. I release. But actually writing it down gets rid of it. And you know, we go through life and there are people you meet in situations that are, I've collaborated on many things too. And things have happened where, they've stolen my work or they haven't embraced it or they have, and it's hurtful and you're going to run into that. So, just be careful. Be careful who really think, is this true? Someone taught a shaman. I went to a shaman and a shaman taught me anytime you have to question like, but if only I don't care if it's friendship, intimate, any kind of relationship, a working relationship. If you have to, but if only, if you
don't
have to
base it on potential.
Exactly.
That's why that word potential, like, I used to kind of be like, oh, there's so much potential. Or,
me too.
She has so much potential, but
I want to believe.
I started to like be.
No. Follow my own instinct. I was like, no. When you have that, like, if there's that little, like I said, sixth sense that comes up. I taught my children the same thing, and the children I teach, and the adults. When you feel that, pay attention to it. That's what we lose as adults. We forget that little feeling as children because children are great. They're very evolved, and very conscious, and they know it. Just like animals. Animals are evolved. They sense fear, danger. When you go in an audition, these casting directors can sense fear. Go in, have fun, embrace.
Tell us
no
your
expectations,
process, please, for how you do auditioning. Like, what's your thing? Let's say, imagine today you have an audition at 3:00. Like, what comes up to it? Even the drive. What do you do?
Right. I have to credit my acting mentor, Billy Gallo, which he's been on. Oh my gosh, Pretty Woman. He's been with De Niro, Pacino. He is amazing. He's located in Manhattan Beach. He's my mentor. He's my friend. He has taught me so much. He really taught me how to play in an audition. I know how to play once I'm on screen. So what I do is before I go on an audition, I sit away from everybody and I ground. And what grounding means is different. It's grounding in my space and getting into what I'm about to do, whatever character I'm going into, and creating the story, but make it my own. Yes, you have an outline of what this character is going to be, but making it your own. I don't chit-chat with anybody else. I go by myself and stay to myself. I don't want to chit-chat. I want to be within myself. So when I go into that audition room, I am myself, and you go positive. You don't want to walk in, oh, how you doing? Oh, okay. Oh, you're just okay? That stays in their mind. How are you? I'm fantastic. And what I do is I look everyone in the eye. Because then you get the energy. You feel who they are and what they are. And then I have fun with it. And I know when I've left there, I did the best I could. Because once you go out there, oh, God, I should have done, fuck, I should have done this.
Yes.
You can't. No.
There's no point.
Do the best you can. Oh, sorry. That's the Italian in me. I should have.
Yeah.
You can edit that.
Free it. Free it up.
Be free. And that's the child in me that goes into every interview. When I go read my books, when I wrote these, I was that child writing these. JoJo is me and I am JoJo. She's my inner child.
She kind of resembles you, just, just
that's a little secret. That's a little secret that nobody knows. JoJo is, because my nickname is Gigi.
Yeah.
And JoJo is actually named after Jophiel, which is the archangel of creativity and beauty and the believer of the children of God. So that's just a little bit of tidbit.
That's cool. Wow, that's interesting.
Behind the scenes.
That's cool. I love how there's so many different processes. There's so many different ways to do something. They say so many ways to skin a cat, which I don't know why.
Why would you want to skin a cat?
That's ridiculous.
Maybe because they have 8 more lives?
Yeah, it's like, that's just... Okay, I knew a woman. I was in love with a woman that used to boil cats. Okay, in Arizona, in high school, they had... I always joke. Maybe I took it a little far there, but literally she told me... I always goofed with her about that. But you know how people here will dissect frogs and stuff?
Sure.
For some reason, in Arizona, in the high schools, I don't know about if they do it now.
Were they live?
No.
Okay,
like somehow dead cats, and there's a boiling system, and then they biology class, and I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
So I always joked with her, and
yeah.
She's a great person.
Well, when I went through training, I was in a...
Boiling cats aside.
Yeah, cadaver, and I saw an autopsy, which is... The human body is absolutely... poetic. It is absolutely poetic. The formaldehyde smell was not so good. I put mentholatum under my nose, but it's really poetic. How the body works. This is where there's a higher being, higher power somewhere, whatever that is.
Yeah, whatever it is.
Whatever you believe in or don't believe in. For me, that's what it was.
Every day when I just take a pause and I think about, excuse me, we got some gangsta music in the background.
That's good.
It's better than Santa Monica screams of homeless people.
True, at night, but they have a story too.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm dealing with homeless people.
I let them in, not in my apartment here, but I when I hear a guy screaming in Santa Monica, and often do, because at night I'm working late here, and I have this window right next to a huge boulevard. I actually just watch them, and I just think about, what is his story?
They do have a story, and a lot of them are. And I wish, it's mental health related. Yeah.
We have no place to put these people anymore.
There's no place. Jail is not the thing. And I know. I could go in circles. And there's such great fodder for characters, too, and need to be embraced. That's why I admired Robin Williams. I do sound at the Comedy and Magic Club. I'm a sound announcer there as well.
Wow.
Because I'm a stage manager, and, Robin Williams' memorabilia is on display there. This is in Hermosa Beach. And I can feel his energy through the walls. And one of the greatest things he used to do is he would hire homeless in all his movies.
I love that.
And so, everybody has a story. Here's this man that brought millions of laughs and tears. One of my greatest, every audition I go in, if they ask for a monologue, my monologue is from Dead Poets Society.
Really? And you're reading his? One of his, or from a woman?
Oh, it's from his.
Oh, I love
Dead
that.
Poets, the speech where he says, I can, and... words and ideas can change the world. That is my monologue. That is my Bible. I use it for everything. I use it for students, and I use it for adults, and I read it to them, and I have them read it out loud too. It's one of the greatest, for me, greatest monologues in the world.
Very cool.
That's it. Yeah.
Okay.
I know we tangent off. I love it.
I love it. There was something I was supposed to say before I talked about homeless people out there screaming.
Yeah.
And
they do.
It's okay. Yeah, they do. And you know what? It's okay to scream.
It's okay to
scream. Let it out, and don't be afraid to scream. And then ground yourself.
I've handed my student pillows, and I'm like, beat it. Scream. Scream in the pillow. Scream. It's okay.
Yeah, if you keep it in, it is dangerous.
It festers, and it poisons.
Yeah.
And so that's why, as I said, this podcast is very important to me. And I want to reiterate how grateful I am to be in here, and because this message may and hopefully resonate with people. And I'm always available. You're always available to assist, whether you're an artist. Everyone's an artist. Everyone is an artist. It doesn't matter what you do. From A to Z, you're an artist, and you're creative, and you're important.
That leads me to something I wanted to ask you about. What can people do who say they are not creative?
Well, when you say you're not creative, you are creative. That's what I say. And then what I do is, it's different for everyone. There's no formula that I do. It's when I sit across from someone, I'll know right away. Just like when I said, what does the grass say to you? Well, when the young boy said he's dancing, well, he had cerebral palsy, so his dream was to dance. I said, stand up, we're going to dance. There was another woman, a woman, who had freckles all over her body. And she never knew what it felt like to have a tan. And she goes, I'm not creative. I don't even know how to create a tan. I'm like, I'm going to show you. And I said, freckles are called angel kisses. And she goes, So what I did is, as a surprise, I brought her to a tanning booth, and they did an organic sugar tan on her. And it worked. And she cried. And she goes, I have wanted this since I was a little girl. I wanted to know what it felt like to have a tan.
Wow.
So it's as simple as that, but it changed her life.
Wow.
So it's different for everyone.
So the book I'm working on, the working title is Unfake It, You Are Always Creative.
Love that.
Or You Are Always Creative. And I mentioned like some random idea I had how to just break out of your doubting side. Like, I'm not creative right now. And one of the things I mentioned is just sit in the room and close your eyes and imagine some like 3-part monster is like pushes you off your chair. And what do? Do you react and run, like jump kick him and run out? And I actually have step by step, like, it doesn't matter how you're going to react, try this, and then you can think about how you're going to react. And steps are simple. And I made it up on the spot because I was trying to be creative about being creative without planning it.
Which is great thing, and what you think, it's a typical boys mentality. And I'm not gender. I think everybody can do anything, whether you're female or male. But it says a lot about you, monsters, and
it's
exactly.
what's happening.
But if creativity comes from your likes and your mostly your dislikes, that's where creativity comes from. It's just like your clown, right? You took something creative and it's going to be in your book, right?
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Interesting.
That's your gem, one of your gems.
Yeah.
I tell kids to walk on the beach, and adults look for treasures. What's your treasure?
That's great. Yeah. We should walk through wherever we walk. We
should
just keep our eyes open for treasure.
Treasures.
And that could be anything. That could be meeting someone. That could be finding something.
And that's your creativity.
That's cool.
Whether it's cooking too. Look at what's in the word creativity. Eat. I'm Italian. Eat.
Ooh,
eat,
I like
eat,
that.
Eat. I love it. I'm a wordsmith. I love words. Words can make you or break you. Can unfake you. You can use that.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
They have the power to destroy. And for me, sometimes few words, less is more. We've all heard it in the acting business. Kiss it, right? Keep it simply stupid.
That's good.
Kiss it.
Kiss it.
Kiss it. And that's in life. Just keep it simple.
Yeah.
But go for the gold.
Yeah, go for the gold, keep it simple, and allow yourself to be open to everything.
I know it seems like a dichotomy, but it is really synonymous in every facet of your life. It's like basically what it says, go for it. Don't give up. Regardless of what that person thinks or that person thinks, or even what you think. Like you said, get quiet. Go into your head. Go into your heart. Your heart knows. You just got to calm the brain.
Yeah. And you know what? When you feel like you can't, or you feel like you really are going to give up, if you actually surround yourself with things, people, and written statements, and hopefully inspiring things you find anywhere on the internet or in books, if you just put that around your room, I feel like no matter what, if you just give it a little time, you will ungive up. You will stop giving up, and you'll start, and you'll get creative.
Put things that make you feel good. Surround yourself by things and people that make you feel good. It could be anything. It could be anything or anyone. Once you start doing that, you yourself, like I'm all about going out there and running and whatever. And running could be anything. It could be yoga. It could be jumping up and down. It could be going down a slide. It could be climbing a roof. It could be hopping a freight train. It could be anything that feeds you. And when you're not in joy, that's okay too. And those are that's what will show your strength, because that's what's going to give you your creativity. Is going through the pain. And like I said, I know it's so easy to self-medicate or shut down. And that's okay if you need to do, but what it does, it's a Band-Aid. And what you do is the Band-Aid gets ripped off and then you put it back on.
And you're not healing.
You're not healing it.
Always a little open wound.
You keep picking the scab. And I'm not against or for. And I mean, there's a lot of things now, in the medication where it's pharmaceutical or even the cannabis, but they all have uses as long as it's not abused, and doesn't hurt others. But when you self-medicate to run away, then you're just moving away from your own.
I like, and I'm going to think about this more this week about, I mean, I surround myself with things I love or things that inspire me. But I like that thought of when you really are stubborn and you're like, nah, I should, like, for me, like, no, I shouldn't even touch on the film industry sometimes. And I've been in it forever. I'm like, nah, like, what I want is impossible. I get into that mode sometimes. And I get out of it faster now because I have a lot of practice.
You have the tools.
Yeah.
You have the tools to get out of it.
Exactly.
And whatever your tools are, you calm down, you get quiet, go run, go draw, go write, go burn, go do what brings you joy, and then come back to it.
Yeah, and when you are stubborn and you have these, you've already, like, okay, when you're kind of in a joyous mood, you need to act and you need to put this inspiration around your room, because when you're stubborn, you're not going to put up a new inspirational quote possibly unless you're really practiced. But the cool thing is if you have it already prepped, you're just your side brain, your third eye, your openness from before will kick in, and you'll get out of it faster. You're going to be like, oh yeah, I don't have to give up, because that thing I wrote on my wall says the unnameable is the eternally real.
Yes.
So I have that on my wall, and I could reflect on that. And heaven is where your home is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And home is where your heaven is.
Yeah. And it's on my wall. It's telling me.
But sometimes also you might have had something that you dreamt for, and then maybe your journey ends there, and it's no longer. Maybe it has manifested into something else. And sometimes you'll get disappointed, like, God, I really wanted to be a ballerina. And so, and sometimes that just doesn't work out. Sometimes success doesn't look like what you think it will be.
Yeah.
And that's okay too.
And if you want to be a ballerina and you
Then
feel
be
like,
a ballerina.
well, yeah, you can be a ballerina. Hey, you might not be at the point in your life where you technically or physically can be the ballerina that's performing in the Amundsen Theater, but you can always join a class or YouTube ballerina, and you're doing it, and that will feed to your other part of your other successes.
And embrace the ego. The ego has such a bad rap. The ego serves you.
Yeah.
Like I said, too much of anything is not good, as long as you don't abuse it. Your ego is part of you, and it serves you well, and it does propel you to the next step sometimes. I always feel I teach people and myself, I have to reflect back, and I draw this. It's an L, and the horizontal line is the goal line, and that's everything we need to sustain life that we're living in right now. The line going up vertically is your soul line. That's what feeds you internally, your authentic self, what makes you feel good inside. So we have to live both lives. And the goal line is part of your ego. Soul line is not your ego. Your goal line is like money, right?
Yeah, gotta have some
money.
You
have to have money. It buys freedom, and it's necessary to sustain life.
Yeah.
When they're in balance, a beautiful thing.
Yeah, you don't have to
beautiful
think
thing.
Evil.
Exactly.
So many people think that money's evil, and
only if you use it as evil.
Yeah, it's just paper.
It's paper.
But not
like
for
I
long.
said,
Who knows?
It buys freedom, but we need it to sustain life as we speak. And it's okay to want money, and it's okay to want things. But it's okay to know if you lose those things, you are okay. You know, speaking from a person who has been on top of the world and who's been at rock bottom a few times. It's getting up. And whatever inspires you, I had to reach deep within myself, and my children were my inspiration.
That's great. To reiterate, but for myself, because sometimes, I want to think about myself.
And it's okay.
When I am when I'm on point, when I'm in state, I feel great. And let's say I did a great film project or something. I met great people. Like yesterday, I met Dean Cundy, one of the best cinematographers of all time, of all Hollywood.
Yes.
He did Back to the Futures. He did Jurassic Park. Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Big
Thing,
Trouble,
right?
Little China, The Thing.
The Thing.
Every movie that I've really looked up to growing up, this wonderful man has been a part of, and he made that with the other beautiful team members. But so I'm on top of the world because I met him last night, and I'm looking forward to him. He agreed to be on the podcast, so we're going to try to make that happen.
Wonderful.
And these are the times when I need to add to my wall and my inspiration because I'm on top of it. So I need to live off that and feed off it, put it up,
Embrace
because
it.
I know that maybe next month I'm going to have a low. I'm going to be down one day because that's me personally. I have that. I used to have a big roller coaster. Now I think that I keep going up, but then there's that drop. Right. And when I have the drop, I will not be inspired to put inspiring things up.
Right.
But if I do it beforehand, they're going to be there. And I'm just trying to reemphasize that.
Well, you're grateful. I think the word for it is being grateful in the moment.
Yeah, and showing yourself.
Yes, and being grateful when
people.
you're not in the moment. Trying to still tap into the gratefulness of, okay, look, I met him. Okay, this month, I'm struggling.
Yeah.
I'm doing this. But if you just say, I'm struggling, forget it. I give up.
Yeah.
It's okay to even say those things, but push through.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Push through.
And when you give up, and again, I'm probably repeating myself 1,000 times, but if you're in that give up mode and you're like, oh man, I look like shit. Everything sucks today. Mm-hmm. But for instance, me, in my case, I write on my walls. So let's say I'm probably going to write Dean Cundy on the wall or just something funny that in my good state, and then in my bad state, I'm going to look left, and you have to look somewhere. So if you look at the wall and you see Dean Cundy, you're going to be like, oh, that was a big win.
Yeah.
This guy that you couldn't even dream of hanging out with, you hung out with him, and
right.
Those are the reminders are so important.
Right.
The faintest ink is the best, is better than the best memory.
Oh, see, I love quotes and metaphors, and for me, that's what moves me. And people, connecting with people, but I also like my alone time, and I know a lot of people, they feel lonely. I have felt lonely, and in those times is been the roughest, and why isn't anybody listening to me? Why aren't I meeting the people that I feel I should be meet? And because it's not the right time. It's so hard to accept those words, or accept when you're going through the low times and you feel like it's only you. And my books reflect on you're not alone in the world. You're really not, but it just feels like it. So when you're in that low and you look at his name on the wall, you're not alone. Wow, you had that moment with him. You're not alone. Right?
Yeah, and there's such a difference between alone and solitude. And you can really, you can transfer the perspective of, oh, I'm alone today, into, oh, great, thank you for this opportunity. I have some solitude. Right.
Well, you have your films, you have your book, you have these podcasts that people can reflect back on when they are feeling when they're feeling high or when they're feeling low. My books it's a tangible, what's nice is you have the tangible items. I have something tangible I can hold on to and look at and reread or read to somebody else. I've taken my books and I've sat with a homeless person in Redondo and read my books. Now, they're for preschool and elementary, but he listened and he says, I like Naga. Naga is a snake who is wise but fun. And Naga is reticent to the people who have come through my life and have embraced me unconditionally and love me unconditionally with no judgment. And they know who they are. And so your podcast will reach people and maybe they'll listen again to whatever you are broadcasting, and they can take that breath and make them feel good.
I hope so.
I believe it will.
I hope.
I believe it has.
You know what I've been noticing when I've been editing these podcasts? since I have to re-listen and edit a little, and then take some show notes, when I hear the good things from my guests, it re-emphasizes everything they said. So it's not like I just heard it once and then that was cool and I post. It's like I heard it once, I heard it a second time, and then I start writing it down, which is the third time.
Yeah.
And then I start embracing like these other ways, and I myself am molding their methods or their mindsets that work with my life.
Right. You're allowing it to come in because it's good.
Yeah. And I'm re-emphasizing. That's how the brain works. You have to.
Yeah.
Like, my professor in music once told me, I'm probably gonna say it the wrong way, but first you learn it, and then and within 24 hours or 30 something hours, you have to re-look at it and then write it, and then once you write it at that third period, you stick it in your brain, and it's longer term.
Well, haven't you seen a movie 10 times, and every time you see it, there's something new that you've seen?
Yeah.
And then as you grow, like let's say you've seen it at 12, but then you look at it at 22 or 32, or it looks different. It's the same movie, you enjoy it, but you can see things differently and feel things differently. It's a book.
Yeah.
If you reread a book, you feel and you see and you hear different things. It's amazing. You pick different things up, especially what's happened in your life.
Yeah.
Or at that moment in your life. What resonates right now may not have resonated 10 years ago, so you weren't ready for it.
What are some favorite books of yours that you would share with people?
I read a book a week. So it's really hard. I'm really bad at titles and
maybe
I like all
three that
books.
come to mind,
play.
Oh yeah, well, you mentioned play.
Right. I'm reading right now.
By what was the author?
Stuart Brown. Okay. And I'm reading right now something by Matt Haig. It's In the Time. It's a fantastic book. The first line is, "I am old," and that's all I'm going to give you. It is, and I've read inspirational books. I mean, I love The Four Agreements. Oh, I reread that all the time.
I've heard of that, but I haven't read it.
Oh.
Wait, who?
It's a quick read. It's when you're feeling low. It's tools to guide you. The Four Agreements.
Yeah.
I read that in Spiritual Psychology. It's one of my favorite books that I had read from, and of course, Rumi and poetry and all those books. You know, my childhood books. I reread after I was in the movie Wrinkle in Time. I'm like, I have to go back and reread that book. I saw it in such a different light. Here I read it as a child, and then I was in the movie, and then I read it after the movie. And such a different perspective, but still inspiring.
That's great.
So, I mean, I can rattle off books. I love all books. I love brainless books where I can just get lost into it. Mm-hmm. I just get lost for the moment to escape reality.
Mm-hmm. It's great.
So it's really hard. I mean, I love all sorts of authors, and I love mysteries and autobiographies and motivational, and I read it all, just like music. I love music. Sometimes I decompress with music, and I go off into, I always call it fairyland. My imagination land, my favorite place to be.
It's a good place.
It is a good place.
I'm in that land a lot.
Me too. I live in that land.
Okay, so if people are listening and they want to write a book of their own and finish a book in a few words, what are your key principles?
Okay. I've taught this to people. I have workshops and I teach people what happened in my journey, and it was really just happenstance, which there is no happenstance, correct? The one thing I suggest, just write. It doesn't matter what you're writing. Forget about punctuation. Forget about spelling. Write anything if you're like, I don't know what I write. This is really dumb. I really don't know what I write. I'm not creative. Write it. Keep writing. It will flow. Just write. It doesn't matter where you're at, what you're at. For me, I like writing by the beach, on the ocean, with the wave. I just enjoy writing there. Or, I mean, I'll write with candles, with my altar, in my room. It just depends. Just write. You can always edit and go back.
Yeah, don't be afraid to write the
words. The first step is just to write and think about it. Because if you're thinking, write it.
Yeah.
If you're thinking about writing a book, it's already in your head. And it's a story. So just write it like a story. Forget about punctuation. Don't worry about punctuation or spelling. Yeah. Just write it.
Okay, what about when you procrastinate? What are your tips?
How do you? Because
we all do.
One of the number one questions I get, because I don't procrastinate. I'm a doer. I'll go all night long, 10 nights in a row to get it done. Procrastination. What I tell people is, and and you're going to think it's funny. It's very silly. Just take a piece of paper and a pencil and start doodling. Movement. Movement of any kind will stop procrastination. Get up and do 10 push-ups. Go up the stairs. Go around the block. Some kind of movement. Write a word. Write your name. Write your name 5 different ways.
I like that.
Yeah, write your word. Your whole name 5 different ways. How many words can you get from your name?
That's great.
It's just movement. It's moving the brain, moving the body.
Yeah, the motions.
It's the motions. When you're stagnant, you feel stuck. So when you're stuck, if you were in quicksand, what would you do? You would try to get one foot out. Or I say it like this. What if someone you loved, someone you love so, so, so much is stuck in sand? What would you do? You would run over there and help them. You would give them a hand. So do that for yourself.
Very good. Yeah. Movement. I like it. Okay, if you had to pick one word that you're constantly working on that benefits you and those around you, you have one?
Love.
Wow. That's a great one. Yeah, life is, I feel life is love. Because without
what is
it,
love?
what is it? And yeah.
It's a lot of things,
A lot
right?
of things. Yeah.
With love, without love, romantic love,
Yeah, love of love.
parent love, love of love, love of life, love of, what is love? It's LOVE.
Yeah.
4 letters. At the end, what does it matter? You come in with a breath, you end with a breath. Everything that happened in between at the end of your life, what matters? See,
Yeah.
love is different for everyone.
That's what makes it so interesting.
Right, because everybody will have a different interpretation and perception based upon their belief system and their life.
Yeah.
And what they want in their future. Well, what is future? What is time?
Yeah. Who
Right?
was when, why was where.
Exactly. Yeah, beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Again, that's another thing I really want to just imprint in my brain, that so many people have different perspectives on words, on your doings, on their doings. So we have to just be a little more open to that, and then a lot more can come in that we all can benefit from each other, instead of saying he doesn't love me because he doesn't do this, which is what I do when I love. But
Right.
hey,
Expectations
if you really
yeah.
drop those expectations and kind of be inquisitive and figure out what that love is to them, then you can understand it better. You can help
And
yourself
some people aren't
them.
capable of love, even though they think they are. They're just not capable because they're not in that moment. If you're talking about romantic love. I mean,
Sure,
that's what it
sure,
sounded
yeah,
like. You were talking about romantic love.
Perhaps, yeah.
So it's different for everyone.
Yeah.
We all want the other person to think like we think. And
Yeah. It's such a weird. Now, I wonder.
Yeah, and just like parents want you to do a certain way.
So you've studied a lot of psychology and child psychology. So where do you think that erupts from? Is it just an innate human trait that, like, I want everyone to think how I'm thinking, or is there some weird reason why we get into that bad? And I kind of call it a bad habit, because a lot of times if you don't, it's dangerous to think that way. But sometimes I'm sure there's some benefits from, like.
Well, you keep
Try to
repeating the
see it.
pattern, and if that pattern is not working, you have to change it. Yeah. So, what boils down to, we all want to be loved, and we all want to love, whatever form that is. We all want to be validated and feel worthy. And when you're seeking that outside yourself, that's where pain can come in. And so, if you don't seek it for yourself, and where do you lose that? We all are born innocent, with love. Maybe in the next moment after you're born, you're not. There are some that are abandoned and orphaned or have disease, but we all come with love. No one is it taught? Is it felt? Is innate?
I think love is a survival
It
trait,
is
for sure.
It's completely survival. But in the beginning and in the end is what you start with it and you end with love. When you think about it,
Yeah, in one way or the other.
right? Yeah. All the other stuff, money and clothes and fame and wealth and poverty and poor health and disease, and the one thing that stands above as a rainbow is love. When you feel love, like true love, there are no expectations. But we are humans, and we have that, and we expect it, and we want it.
Yes.
And it's deserving. Do we deserve? I like, people want to be an actor because they want to make the money and they want fame and well, deep inside, they just want to be validated and loved.
And they think they need something, let's
Else
say,
externally.
that far
Right.
to get that.
But is it nice to gain prosperity through the things you love? No. That's a beautiful thing. Yeah. You just have to know, like, your podcast, your books, my acting, my teaching, my counseling, my assisting. If you are giving it with the best of your intentions and have no expectations, it will rebound back in whatever way it's supposed to do. If you're doing authentically and with love, I believe that's what will come back.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that some people, they maybe it's easier to get into that mindset. But I think everyone, there's a little practice needed. Once you realize that it's that important, that you can practice, do things, right, and make little efforts that really add up, and then they pay off.
Right. And some may be listening to this and say, yeah, that just sounds too easy. But it's not. The journey to come to the where you are or where you're not or where you want to go, it's tough. Yeah. I'm not going to say it's easy.
Yeah,
sure. And just like you said, you're going to have your high points where you're feeling good and in balance, and then there's going to be somewhere it's like, what am I doing here? Yeah. What is my purpose?
And I know they're going to come, which just by saying they're going to come, like that in itself will help, I think.
Well, it's manifesting. Mm-hmm. And sometimes the things we want to manifest most, sometimes there's a fear behind it because you want it so badly.
What are some of your sources for inspiration and creativity? Like any specifically websites or recent purchases you can share that have just inspired you? Could be anything.
Really, what inspires me is people. Okay. Working with people and assisting people and children. They inspire me because they're living the real life. Okay. So yes, I can gain motivational quotes from this person and that person, or when I see a good movie that moves me to tears. Something that moves me to emotion is what inspires me. Real emotion, not fake. Anything that moves my emotions, that touches me in a certain way, that makes me think and feel. That's whether it's a book, a movie, a food, a person. The sun. The sunset.
Yeah. You can't buy the sun, but it's there every day for you.
Exactly. That's right. Which is, a blessing in itself. But
although they have these sunlights you can buy now for your room.
Exactly.
I would like to get one of those one day.
Me too.
That'd be fun.
Well, it does. There is something that does to your body, the melatonin and everything.
Okay. Any specific creative gadgets or purchases that you happen to come across that maybe you'd like to share?
I like crystals. Crystals, like I bought this necklace, is the moon. The moon is divine. I love the sun, but I always try to embrace the feminine part of me as well, which I'm a very strong, powerful woman, and I get a lot of things done. And I have to remember that I have to tap into that feminine part of me and receive. I have a really hard time receiving. And so when I buy little trinkets that are very feminine and make me feel good inside, or a little crystal, rose quartz. I love rose quartz, and I love carnelian. Carnelian is just a powerful stone that's beautiful, and it sparkles, and opal sparkles, and that's what inspires me. Or going in, I've done this, I'll go in and I'll try on a bunch of clothes that just dress up.
That's cool.
Dress up like cuckoo, like crazy cuckoo clothes, and just become all these little characters in all these clothes. And I have fun.
That's a good activity to just go to a store and try on clothes you would never wear.
Never wear.
And then, you're not going to buy them, but look in the mirror, maybe snap a pic to look later.
Yes.
That's fun.
I do that. I've done that with my Girl Scout. I had a Girl Scout troop for 12 years, 442. And I would take them and we would try on crazy clothes, and then we'd go into Sephora. And I would let them put whatever they wanted. And you talk about clowns. and just have fun with it. That's what inspires me. You know, you can't really, it's temporary. If I say, oh yeah, I go out and buy this book and I read it, yes, it's inspiring, but it's temporary. I want something that has a long lasting, and dressing up like that, I can take that memory and like, oh my God, that was really fun to try and be cuckoo. And, you know, and people look at me like I'm crazy, and I like that.
I overcame that moment where everyone's going to say, what is this person doing? Having fun by themselves or
exactly.
something.
Bah humbug.
Yeah,
exactly.
so you look at, if you have a little picture of yourself and you pin it up, when you're down, you could look at it and go, oh yeah, I do things that I want.
Yeah.
I'm going to do things I want now.
Yeah.
I'm going to get out of this hellhole.
Exactly.
And I'm going to do something fun.
I've jumped in the ocean. Full set of clothes. Who cares?
My favorite thing to do.
Yes. Who cares? Like, who cares? It's just clothes. It's just fabric. Yeah. Getting dirty. I would tell the kids, get dirty. Right on the walls. Get dirty if you want. Oh, but no, my mom will get mad if you know what? Get dirty. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah. If people can realize it's not the end of the world, or also if I do this and people are looking at me strange, I can still enjoy it because I want to do it. Then I think the goodness will pour into their lives in the other aspects.
They actually admire it. They're just in fear, like, of looking stupid or being judged. And I'm like, who cares?
We
what
need
they
to rid
think?
that somehow.
That's what it is, and that's in the 4 agreements. Don't take things personally, because that's their journey. That's their story. If someone talks bad about you, that's on them. That's on them. That's not you. I know it hurts.
Yeah.
It hurts bad, and you want to vent, and you want to get back, and you want to get even. But that's on them. If you can just calm down and think, it's on them. They said it. That's not who you are.
Yeah.
If they want to talk about you and say you're this and you did this and that's okay. You know, betrayal is a hurt word and comes in all different forms. Once you let that go and say, well, that was their journey, not mine. I did everything with the best of intentions and the best of my heart.
That's powerful.
I believe that 100%.
I want to give you a chance to let people know where they can find your work, more about you, your books, your socials, your websites, all that stuff. So,
thank
please.
you. I'm on Instagram, Jojo by Gigi, Facebook, Gina Ann. My website is Gina Ann, GinaAnn .actor, and also Gina Ann, www.ginaannauthor.com, and that gives you, and under my author umbrella is my spiritual psychology and life coaching certification, where I assist men, women, and children. And PTSD is not just for veterans. You know, PTSD is, you can have PTSD in a relationship as well. And I know it's just, but I want to remind people, whatever diagnosis and whatever you're labeled, it is just that, a diagnosis. It is not who you are or what you are. It is just a label that is given. It's not who you are. That's the biggest thing if you take anything away. Or what other people label you. It's not who you are. You are an amazing person with amazing gifts to show the world. Everybody has amazing gifts to show the world.
Yeah. Labels are insanely dangerous.
Yes. And hurtful.
Yeah. I've tried to stay away from them a lot of my life, and I only utilize them when it makes sense. You know what I mean? Per project, per person, per avenue, per mindset.
Right.
But they're shifting, and they're okay to. You don't want to be just one. That is what I am, and then you think people look at you that way.
So
Let me
much
do
more.
what I supposed to do. You know.
Right. And I think you could do anything. I mean, I look like I'm all over the place. I'm an author. I'm an actress. I'm a psychologist. You know, I'm a teacher. I'm a mom. I'm a human. I want to experience everything I can experience this world. You know, I have clean toilets, and I've sat on a gold toilet. And a bidet, a golden bidet.
Why don't we have more bidets in America?
Exactly.
I went when I went to Thailand, when I went to Philippines. There's so many bidets out there. It is wonderful.
Right. Embrace your sexuality. Embrace your ethnicity. Embrace who you are.
Bidet the hell out of your ass.
Bidet the hell. Get that shit out. And then rock that shit.
Yeah, baby.
I'm a firm believer you can do anything, regardless of age, gender, ethnicity, color. We're all a mix. Mm-hmm. We're all a mix.
Yes.
We're all in this for the same thing, to live the best quality life we can.
1000% agreed. Okay, last question for you.
Okay.
What is one step people can take today who want to get more creative and follow through with their endeavors in the entertainment industry? So following through.
Okay.
What's that one step?
Research it. What do you want to do? What do you want to be? Go. It's ready, available now. We're an electronic e-world. Research it and get in touch with people. I feel that we're losing the interpersonal. Connect with another person. Call me. You are welcome to call me anytime. Email me. I personally handle everything. I will speak to you directly. I am open to assist in any way that could better assist you to reach your dreams.
That's great. I love that. That's a great step.
It's true. I wouldn't put that out there if I didn't mean it. I mean what I say, and I say what I mean.
I love that. Al Pacino said that in one of his movies.
Yeah,
and I always remembered him saying that.
Me too. It resonates.
So great.
These things that are embedded in you, if it resonates, that's part of who you are.
Thank you for that.
Thank you.
That's a great one. I mean, I want to do something new, or I want to do something that seems unfathomable.
Yes.
Just research it.
Research it.
And
Do it.
Go to the library for a change too.
Feel and touch books.
Yes.
I'm not a big fan of Kindle. You can get mine on Kindle and ebooks, but I love touching, feeling. I write in my books. I write notes on the side of it, in the front of it, in the back of it. I highlight it. I put tabs in it. And then I go back, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is where I was at this place. And this is what I wrote. It's amazing. But whatever you want to do, and you can do anything. I mean, the things I've done may seem impossible. If you want to go ride a motorcycle, go ride a motorcycle. I researched it. I got certified. It doesn't necessarily have to have 5 Harleys. I just wanted to do it. I've had many adventures. Tony, you and I have had adventures.
Yeah.
We just went for it. We didn't hurt anybody, and it's been amazing. I live for those moments. And it's always better, really is always better when you're doing it with someone who is like-minded and authentic and has no agenda. Mm-hmm. Has no agenda.
Yes.
Right?
Well, thank you so much for being on
Tony.
here. This was a fantastic conversation.
No, I had so much fun. It flew by.
Yeah, a lot of stuff to think about. And I hope that you have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you. You as well.
I'll see you soon. And that is it. Have a beautiful day. Do something creative. Please give in to that passion of yours. Don't let anyone stop you. Be a child. Be free. And get vulnerable. And get sharing. And get reviewing on my show, please. Because I just want to know how I'm doing. No, it'd be great. Because then other people could see your review and perhaps take a listen. And maybe they'll find some gems for themselves, and we'll have more artists, more passion driving in this cutthroat world. Thank you for including me in your day. Farewell. Ta-ta.
Thank you for listening to the Unfake It Till You Make It podcast. For detailed sources and show notes for this episode, visit www.unfakeittillyoumakeit.com. Until next time, get up, get going, and get creative.